Hello, and a very warm welcome to Level Up Health. If you're here, it's likely because you believe in the power of movement. You understand that staying active is a cornerstone of a vibrant, independent life, especially as we navigate our 60s, 70s, and beyond. You're likely already doing so many things right, choosing healthier meals, going for walks, and maybe even following a regular exercise routine. You are putting in the work, and that is something to be genuinely proud of. But what if I told you that our understanding of healthy movement needs to evolve with us? What served us in our 30s and 40s might need a gentle, thoughtful adjustment as we honor the beautiful bodies that have carried us this far. This isn't about creating fear or a list of things you can no longer do. It's the exact opposite. This is about empowerment. It's about gaining a deeper awareness so you can continue to move with confidence, strength, and most importantly, safety for all the years to come. Today, we're going to explore a topic that is quietly crucial, but so often overlooked: how some of the most common, seemingly harmless exercises and movements could be creating hidden risks for our cardiovascular and brain health. We're going to talk about why movements like simple stretches, core work, or even how you get up from a chair can have a profound impact on things like blood pressure and circulation, especially if you're over 60. This isn't about stopping. It's about refining. It's about moving smarter, not just harder. Because I've heard from so many of you who have felt that sudden wave of dizziness after a workout or a moment of lightheadedness that came out of nowhere. Those little signals are our body's way of communicating with us, and it's time we learn to listen. So I invite you to join me on this journey of discovery. Let me know in the comments below. Have you ever had a moment during or after exercise where your body sent you a signal that something was off? Sharing your experience helps us all learn and grow together. And if you find value in our conversation today, please consider subscribing to Level Up Health. Our mission here is to give you the tools and the confidence to not just live longer, but to live better. Let's begin with a movement so fundamental. We do it dozens of times a day without a second thought. I'm talking about bending forward from a standing position. Perhaps you're reaching down to tie your shoelaces. Pick up a grandchild's toy, or grab something from a low cabinet. It feels entirely automatic. However, the speed and way in which you do it can set off a surprising chain reaction inside the body. When you bend forward quickly at the waist, gravity pulls blood toward your head in a sudden rush. Now, in a younger body, the cardiovascular system is like a high-tech responsive machine. It instantly detects this shift and makes micro adjustments to keep blood pressure stable. But as we age, that system's response time can have a slight delay. It doesn't mean it's broken. It just means it's more deliberate. During that brief delay, the sudden pooling of blood in your head can be followed by a rapid drop in blood pressure as you stand back up. This is what doctors refer to as orthostatic or postural hypotension. The sensation it creates is that all too familiar feeling of dizziness, seeing stars, or feeling suddenly unsteady on your feet. For some, it can be severe enough to cause a brief blackout. And this is where the real danger lies. It's not just the momentary discomfort, it's the risk of a fall. A fall from standing can lead to a serious head injury, a fractured hip, or other complications that can profoundly impact your independence. It's a known risk factor that can contribute to stroke-related events, especially in those who already have circulatory concerns. I once spoke with a wonderful woman who, while gardening, bent down quickly to pull a weed. She felt that wave of dizziness, lost her footing for just a second, and ended up with a badly sprained wrist. It wasn't the gardening that was the problem. It was that one hurried, unsupported movement. So here's the smarter, more mindful approach. The level up way. Before you bend, pause for a second. Plant your feet shoulder-width apart. Instead of hinging only at the waist, soften your knees and bend them as you lower your torso. If you can, place one hand on a sturdy surface, a wall, a countertop, or a chair for support. Come down slowly, and more importantly, rise slowly. Give your body that extra beat to adjust. This simple act of mindfulness transforms a risky movement into a safe and stable one. From that movement on the floor, let's gently bring our awareness a little higher to our neck. When you feel stiffness or tension in your neck, what's your first instinct? For many of us, it's to do a quick, sharp twist side to side, or to roll our head around in a big, fast circle. It might provide a fleeting sense of release, but it's one of the riskiest habits we can fall into. Running vertically through the bones in your neck are two critical blood vessels known as the vertebral arteries. Think of them as the personal expressways, delivering oxygen-rich blood to the back of your brain, the area that controls our balance, vision, and coordination. These arteries are not large, rigid pipes. They are delicate, flexible vessels. When you whip your head around rapidly or force an extreme stretch, you can physically compress or, in rare but serious cases, even cause a tiny tear in the lining of these arteries. This compression or injury can disrupt the smooth flow of blood, creating turbulence or even a small clot. If that blood flow is significantly reduced, even for a moment, it can lead to symptoms like vertigo, blurred vision, or in the most severe instances, a stroke. Medical journals have documented cases where individuals have experienced strokes triggered not by a major trauma, but by an aggressive neck movement during exercise or even a chiropractic adjustment gone wrong. I remember a client who used to start his day with vigorous neck rolls, thinking he was warming up for the day. He began experiencing puzzling dizzy spells in the late morning. His doctor eventually connected the dots, and once he replaced the rolls with gentle, slow-motion turns, looking left, pausing, returning to center, looking right, the dizziness vanished. The safer, more loving way to care for a stiff neck is with gentleness. Move your head slowly and with intention. Think of lengthening your neck, not crunching it. If you're feeling stiff, a warm compress can work wonders to relax the muscles. Better yet, seek guidance from a physical therapist who specializes in geriatric care. They can teach you stretches that respect your body's anatomy and keep those vital blood vessels safe. Now let's talk about building strength, because it is absolutely vital for maintaining muscle mass and bone density. Weightlifting is a phenomenal tool for this, but one common habit can turn a strength-building exercise into a moment of extreme strain on your brain. The danger isn't just in lifting weight that is too heavy, it's in what you do with your breath while you lift it. Think about the last time you pushed or lifted something truly heavy. What did you do instinctively? You likely took a deep breath, held it, and bore down. This is called the Valsalva maneuver. When you do this, you create a massive spike in pressure within your chest, which then radiates up into your head. This intrathoracic pressure squeezes the blood vessels, causing your blood pressure to skyrocket momentarily. For a young athlete, the body can often handle this surge. But for an older adult, especially someone with pre-existing high blood pressure or more fragile blood vessels, that sudden intense spike is like a power surge in an old electrical system. It can place immense strain on the arteries in the brain, increasing the risk of a hemorrhagic stroke, where a blood vessel ruptures. The American Heart Association has studied this, linking these sudden exertions to an increased risk of brain bleeds, particularly in older individuals. A gentleman I know, a proud and fit man in his late 60s, was at the gym trying to prove he could still lift what he did a decade ago. Mid-lift, holding his breath, he felt what he described as a thunderclap headache and nearly passed out. He had created such a severe blood pressure spike that he was lucky to have avoided a catastrophic event. The level-up approach to strength training is all about control, not brute force. Choose a weight that feels challenging but allows you to maintain perfect form. And most importantly, breathe. The golden rule is to exhale on the effort as you push, press, or lift, and inhale as you release or lower the weight. This continuous breathing acts as a pressure release valve, preventing that dangerous spike and keeping your brain safe while your muscles get stronger. This theme of internal pressure brings us to our next exercise, one often associated with peace and wellness, yoga. While yoga offers incredible benefits, certain poses can be problematic. Specifically, I'm talking about fully inverted poses like a headstand or a shoulder stand. These postures, which place your head below your heart, are often promoted for improving circulation. However, for an older body, they can do more harm than good. When you go upside down, you are sending a torrent of blood directly to your head, dramatically increasing the pressure inside your skull, what's known as intracranial pressure. If you already have hypertension, glaucoma, or weakened blood vessels, this flood of pressure can be overwhelming. It can strain the delicate vessels in your eyes and brain, leading to severe headaches, vision problems, or even triggering a mini-stroke. Neurologists have seen patients who, after starting a practice with inversions, reported these exact symptoms. A woman in a local wellness community shared her story. She was an avid yoga practitioner for years and loved the feeling of a shoulder stand. But as she entered her late 60s, she noticed that after her practice, she'd have a pounding headache and a feeling of pressure behind her eyes that would last for hours. Her doctor wisely advised her to stop the inversions. Does this mean you can't get the circulatory benefits? Not at all. A beautiful, safe, and deeply calming alternative is the legs up the wall pose. By lying on your back and resting your legs vertically against a wall, You encourage gentle venous return from your legs without putting any dangerous pressure on your head. It's a perfect example of working with your body, not against it. Let's shift our focus from the yoga mat to something many of us do for our cardiovascular health: running. Now, running itself isn't the issue, but a very common mistake on the treadmill turns this wonderful tool into a potential hazard. The mistake is running or walking at a speed that feels just a little too fast, forcing you to focus so intently on keeping up that you neglect to hold on to the side rails for support. As we age, our balance, proprioception, our sense of where our body is in space, and our reaction times naturally change. A treadmill is a moving belt. It doesn't forgive a moment of imbalance. A single misstep, a brief dizzy spell, or a moment of distraction can lead to a stumble. And on a moving surface, a stumble can quickly become a serious fall. Data from health agencies consistently shows that treadmill-related accidents are disproportionately high among seniors, with falls being the primary cause of injury. Beyond the fall risk, there's another factor. If you are struggling to keep your balance while moving at speed, your body is in a state of high alert. This can cause your heart rate and blood pressure to fluctuate erratically, placing unnecessary strain on your cardiovascular system. I remember seeing a gentleman at my gym who would proudly jog on the treadmill, hands-free at a pretty brisk pace. One morning, he just slightly lost his footing. The resulting fall left him with a concussion and a deep fear of the machine. His physical therapist later told him that if he had simply held the rails or slowed the pace to where he felt completely stable, the incident would likely have been a non-event. The smarter approach is to let go of ego. Use the handrails. They are there for your safety. If you want more of a challenge, don't just increase the speed. Instead, try walking at a comfortable pace while increasing the incline. This will give you an excellent cardiovascular workout while keeping you stable, supported, and safe. This idea of stability brings us to our core. So many of us turn to classic exercises, like crunches and sit-ups to strengthen our midsection. But the way they are often performed, rapidly, with jerky movements, can be problematic. When you perform a quick crunch, you are rapidly contracting your abdominal muscles, which spikes the pressure inside your abdomen and chest. This can momentarily impede the return of blood to the heart and, consequently, reduce the flow of freshly oxygenated blood to the brain. Think of it like momentarily pinching a hose. The flow is disrupted. For someone with a resilient cardiovascular system, it's a blip. But for an older adult, that brief drop in cerebral blood flow can be enough to cause dizziness and disorientation, especially when doing many repetitions without a break. A man I know was determined to maintain his six-pack and did 100 fast crunches every morning. He complained of feeling lightheaded and fuzzy afterward. His doctor explained the mechanics of the pressure spike. He switched his routine to slower, more controlled movements like pelvic tilts and bird dog exercises, where he focused on his breath. The dizziness disappeared, and he found he actually felt his core muscles working more effectively. The safer path to a strong core is through slow, deliberate movements where you focus on breathing and form. And finally, let's close the loop by returning to where we started. The simple, everyday act of changing position. Just as bending down too quickly is a risk, so is standing up too quickly, especially in repetition. Think about doing fast-paced bodyweight squats, or getting up and down from a chair rapidly as an exercise. Each time you stand up, your body has to fight gravity to get blood to your brain. When you do this over and over again, quickly, you can outpace your body's ability to regulate blood pressure. This is that same postural hypotension we discussed earlier. It's not a sign of weak legs. It's a sign that your cardiovascular system needs a moment to catch up. A friend's father, trying to improve his agility, started doing rapid sit-to-stand exercises. He found himself feeling profoundly dizzy and unsteady for a good part of the morning afterward. Once he slowed his pace, pausing for a breath at the top and bottom of each movement, the problem was solved. When you perform squats or sit-to-stand movements, do so with intention. Rise slowly. Feel your feet on the ground. Take a breath. Let your body stabilize before you sit back down. Use a sturdy chair or counter for support if you need it. Balance and stability are your greatest allies. So here we are. We've journeyed through these movements not to create a list of prohibitions, but to cultivate a new level of awareness. This knowledge is not a stop sign. It is a roadmap. It's a guide to help you continue your journey of health and fitness with wisdom and self-compassion. Staying active as we age is one of the most profound acts of self-love we can engage in. The goal simply shifts from pushing our limits to honoring them. Every stretch, every lift, And every step can be a celebration of what your body can do when done with care. You don't need to be the fastest or the strongest person in the room. You just need to be the most in tune with your own body. I hope this conversation has illuminated some new ways for you to think about your daily routines. Perhaps you recognized a habit you'd like to adjust, either for yourself or for someone you love. That awareness is the first and most powerful step. Let's continue to show up for ourselves. Let's keep moving, learning, and choosing a path of sustainable, joyful health. If this video resonated with you, please share your thoughts in the comments. And be sure to subscribe to Level Up Health so we can continue to walk this path together. Until next time, please take wonderful care of that amazing body of yours.